Hello everyone, welcome again back to Websy Wongi's channel. If you're new, welcome. Do subscribe if you haven't, and hope you like the video. I'm going to do something I haven't really tried, just kind of channel messages. I've done that in the past, similar, but just pretty much go on, if you are watching this, you could be receiving a message of some sort, or you're looking for an answer to a question that you may be having. A lot of the reasons why I watch tarot readings is because it helps me and guides me on to what's the next thing. So I'm not sure what this is going to be exactly, but I'm just going to go on, the messages I'm coming. It's not in a particular sign or zodiac. It's just pretty much, picking up messages from the cards. So I did pre-shuffle the cards. I'm just going to lay out the cards, what they're coming up. So let's get started. Situate this. I wish I had a proper setup, like most people, but I'm not that. I mean, if I had the ability, I could figure it out. It's just have to do what I have to do. Alright, I'm gonna leave that right there so I can clearly read the messages. Alright. And we do have a full moon in Sagittarius, so a lot of things are happening with the planet, a lot of happening with the energies and stuff, but this is just a message for someone. Give me a minute to read it. Alright, if you've came to this video in some form or dynamic, this is a general reading. So, coming in, we have the King of Swords. So this is possibly, you're an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. So that's very significant coming in. And then we have the Knight of Wands. And then we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. And then the Queen of Wands in reverse. So I'm feeling for whoever this message applies, I feel like you need to be clear, especially when it comes to, with the new moon or full moon in Sagittarius, be very clear on where your direction is, on where you want to go, whatever that may look like. But also, too, the feeling I'm getting with the King of Swords is, you're at a good place right now to really not take action right now, especially Sagittarius. I always feel like, this is just general me, I always feel like I'm always thinking ahead, in the energy of fire. It's passion, it's drive. So I'm feeling with this, be very careful when it comes to how you're speaking, how you're coming across. Okay, so it's about your passions. So whoever this may apply, be careful on how you're speaking. Be careful on, the next idea and goals. Because I feel like with the Knight of Wands, when you put these two together, they kind of blend in and out. So I could be talking to a fire or air sign. So if that resonates, go with it. If not, or you're carrying on this energy. So I feel like with these two energies coming together, air and fire, and it is that I just thought of it. It is Gemini season still. So we got this fire air thing going on. And then we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. That's also water in some way. So it's like we have all the elements, Queen of Wands in reverse. So I'm feeling whoever received this message, if this applies to you, I feel like be very careful on how you're coming across. Whoever you're dealing with, I feel like your passions may be tested right now. So with the Knight of Wands, or Knight of Cups, that could be your emotions out of balance. And I feel like whoever you're dealing with, maybe in some way they're not offering you something. That's just what I'm getting. So the message that I'm feeling with these 3 cards and combined to each other is maybe you feel like a love dynamic. They're not offering you something that could potentially help you in the long run. Maybe it's an air, maybe you're the air sign with a fire sign that maybe you or another person is unavailable to give you this offer of love, this opportunity. Or maybe you're feeling like with this person you don't have the opportunities to fulfill in your passions. So I just feel like if you're in a love dynamic, if you're in a situation with either an air sign or fire sign, I feel like the best option in this situation, or you're carrying these energies, be very mindful of how you're coming across, how you're speaking, how you're relaying to your emotions, especially when a Knight of Cups. I always feel like, this is an opportunity card, this is love, but maybe you haven't fully given something in your life. Maybe this is your journey. You're either an air sign or fire sign where you're not giving 100% to yourself. Maybe when it comes to your passions, when it comes to things that matter to you, maybe you just need to observe before taking any action. Maybe that's what it is. So either fire or air, one of the two. You need to stay grounded, stay alert of what is the next step. How can we move forward? And then you have the Knight of Wands, which that's about taking courage, but also too with it in reverse, I feel like you feel blocked. You feel like you can't really potentially move with this person, whether it's you or air or fire. So you feel like whoever it is, you feel like you can't move on a passion because you get your emotions involved. And you really need to speak up. And I feel like maybe that's what you're having a trouble. So if you are an air sign or a fire sign, I would suggest, or you could be dealing with a Sagittarius. So an air sign dealing with a Sagittarius on how they're speaking up and how they communicate. And I feel like you don't have the courage to deal with this in some dynamic. All right, let's get into more of the messages coming through. Just shuffle it like this, kind of, because I can't hold the camera on that. So just feel when I need to stop. These feel like they need to come out. So I'll just take the bottom parts. All right, some more messages. Okay, so we could be dealing with 2 air signs, male and female. That's what I'm picking up. So it looks like to me the Queen of Swords. So this could be a potential partner together, 2 air signs together, fire and air. I just feel like, you're influenced by air. But I feel like in some way you're taking on these properties of the male and the female, masculine and feminine, where you have to be very clear. So I feel like coming through this, you're starting to speak up. You're starting to be clear. I feel like you're starting to speak your truth. But before those is nice. So you really need to speak up. I feel like with the Queen of Swords, it's indicating you need to speak up. It's really hard when we get in our emotions and we feel like we can't give 100%. We can't give our love, our opportunities, because we feel like we don't know how to speak. So I feel like what the Queen of Swords is saying here is it's time to speak up. It's time to speak your truth. It's time to let these emotional, unstable feelings be put to silence, and that you can move forward on your goals and passions. And then you have the Death card, you have the Nine of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles. So Death in reverse is all about, you've gone through a period of death, of transformation, of something that had an ending. So for some of you, not for all of you, I feel like what the Queen of Swords is saying with the Death in reverse is you really have to transform yourself in a way where you can potentially balance a situation. Be clear and not too harsh, but clear what it is you want and speak up about it. For some of you, there have been an ending. Maybe you're this air sign that there was an ending. And maybe it was an ending with a Sagittarius or another air sign. So the goal here is to understand that with the Queen of Swords being right by the Death card in reverse, I feel like there's a huge traumatic shift. I feel like you're starting to speak up. You're starting to understand yourself in a better form. You've gone through, you could have Scorpio in your chart, or you could be taking on this energy as well. It's not really, necessarily the sign itself. But I feel like, you've gone through a lot. You've gone through a lot of battles, maybe with these air signs and fire signs, or you've gone through the struggle. And now it's time to love yourself, I feel like, with the nine of Pentacles. So, and then the 6. So you've gone through a period, maybe with this other air sign, Aquarius, Gemini. I'm feeling strongly this is a Libra and Aquarius situation. Or a fire sign you're dealing with. But those were what I feel like, and Sagittarius. It's time to give back to yourself. It's time to acknowledge that you put a lot of work into this. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's with this air sign or fire sign or even water sign, where I just feel like you really need to be clear on what it is you want and start speaking up on your truth. Maybe with the Death card, it could indicate, there had to be an ending of some sort so you can love yourself again. I do know a few Libras who have gone through this transformation where they're seeing themselves clear as day. And now they're speaking up and they're understanding, this had to end with either a fire sign or an air sign, possibly an earth sign too, and water. So you've had to go through this experience, maybe with these people, so you can learn to love yourself. I think that's the strongest message. Let's see if we can get some verifications on what other messages need to come through for someone that needs this message. Okay, I feel like this one would come out in there. If you guys like more of these, I can do more of them. Just let me know on the bottom of the comments below. Just doing clarifications for them. Okay, so definitely what we have here, we have water, air, possibly earth, but I think it's more of a air, fire, and air. So something ended. I'm feeling something closed out, maybe with this air sign you were dealing with. Something had to transform itself in order for him to speak his truth. And I feel like that's where you're dealing with this painful experience, where you're feeling like you're closed out, you're clammed up. But in some turns, I feel like it's helping you speak your truth. So whatever this Tower moment that happened to you, I feel like it was meant to happen. It was divinely guided by the universe. Because if you think about it, there's clouds here. This is kind of like on a mountain. That's what I was getting with that card. So this Tower moment in your life, I feel like whatever it is, apply to with this air sign or fire sign. left you in a state of shock, left you in a place where you couldn't get out. And then, they had to celebrate. So maybe they've moved forward with their passions so that they can actually communicate more with people, associate more with people, and they can fully be aligned with their higher potential. Then we have Justice, the Devil in reverse, the Four of Wands and the Sun, and the Knight of Pentacles. So what I'm getting with these last few messages is to make a balance out of this situation or relationship. I feel like with the Justice there, as a clarifier underneath the Knight of Pentacles, no love was being offered. No love was balancing out. There's something in the relationship or situation that is in balance. So I feel like with the Three of Cups, there is celebration when it comes to maybe this air or fire sign that's coming in. But I feel like there's still imbalances here, especially when it comes to love, when it comes to stability, when it comes to things that are of the heart, and the matters of the heart. So with the Devil here in reverse underneath the Knight of Wands, so someone you've dealt with, whether it's a fire sign or air sign, set themselves free from the situation so they can enjoy life to the fullest. But for you, it was something that was kept in secret and silent, and it had to end. It could end a relationship, could end in a marriage problem, but I feel like ultimately, things are starting to balance out, even though we got the Justice in reverse. But I feel like on your end of the thing, because it's kind of like two people I'm feeling, you're not very happy about how things ended or the situation when it comes to maybe this earth sign, maybe someone that gave you stability in your life, or maybe in a past life dynamic. But I feel like you're still unhappy about it. But I feel like it's helping you transform into what can better serve your life. Because right here you got the Knight of Pentacles. So it is good outcome. This really reminds me of a situation that I know of that really was brought to light. Someone gone through this period where they thought everything was fine, and then this Tower moment happened back in January. And I heard someone talking about January. Today's kind of like January. Because Sagittarius was like in the same alignment of the full moon. So it's kind of like we're having to rehash these things. But this isn't collective. This is just a personal message to whoever feels like they're drawn to this message. But basically, and I'll close it out soon, the Knight of Pentacles. So I feel like whoever ended something with someone, whether it's a fire sign or air sign, I feel like ultimately it helped you understand your worth, especially that, your worth, your value, everything it is. But at the same time, I feel like you're still sad about it, but I feel like you're trying to move forward. And now you can give to yourself or give to others that you're loving and care for. But I feel like with this other person, whoever that may be, they had to go through this traumatic enlightenment. And the Tower card also isn't a bad thing. Tower card is enlightenment as well. They had an experience, a flash or a trigger or something that set them off. And they had to understand that they weren't going anywhere, and I feel like that's the message here with the Knight of Wands. They weren't going anywhere. They didn't have the connections. They didn't have friends. Maybe they just were alone at the time, and they didn't feel like they had the connection with people. But also too, Justice in reverse, I feel like, there was a choice that was given. And I think in some cases they chose friendships. They chose other relationships to get into and maybe leave, someone out so they can potentially be the best of themselves. Let me see if I can get some more clarifiers. I said it wrong. Alright. Trying to shuffle it with one hand. Okay, this one I got Lovers, Gemini. So some of you could be dealing with a Gemini or the energy you're taking on. So it was a past dynamic for some of you that was a huge burden, I feel like. Okay, one more to make sure. So yeah, this person or you, whoever this is, they carried on more than what they really. But I feel like most of what the problem was with this other person or you was that you needed the connection. So I felt like what meant to be a good thing, like in a relationship, whether it be a marriage or just a partnership or just a one-night stand, was actually, a twin flame dynamic in some way where something was a burden to them when it shouldn't have been. And it kept them up at night or kept you up at night where it felt like they couldn't get control of the situation. That messed with their emotions. So I feel like maybe in some way they are in a good place emotionally, or you are good. But I just feel like there's a struggle within yourself or within this other person. Because I feel like I'm reading for both of you. I just feel like, you have to keep your emotionals in check, because whatever ended, whatever was a burden to you or another person, kept you up at night, or vice versa. But I feel like it more so kept you at night because you're a fighter. You put the effort, you put the time in. So whoever you're dealing with, whether it was this Gemini or Aquarius or Libra, you put in the effort. So you felt like that this lover, this commitment, or this partnership was a burden to you. So I just feel like the advice here is whatever went down with you and another person, I just feel like it was meant to happen. Especially when the Gemini card come up, the Lovers. It's a twin flame dynamic, and they're always here to teach us valuable lessons. Like anybody can be a soulmate. Anybody is here to teach you something. And usually people don't know that about soulmates, but yes. And then twin flames are actually hard. So it could have been a situation where both of you in a past life gave 100%, but in this life maybe you shared something different, and it's more of a burden than something that wasn't supposed to be a burden. Maybe this other person in some way felt like you were a burden to them. Anyways, I feel like I'm going to close out. I'm losing my voice. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe you or another person couldn't speak their truth because it was too painful. So I just feel like in this situation, you just have to make the best of this bad situation. So hopefully you'll get through it. But yeah, tell me down below if I should keep doing these. I love sharing messages and stuff like this, even if I'm just doing regular tarot cards. But always like to add stuff different to it. So anyways, thank you again for listening. Bye-bye.